Soviets and Soviets of the Red Army, how y'all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
And I'm Rangru, low.
And folks, today we have another Cold War match, this time on Krupa, but with a different country. Rang, who is bringing what to the fray?
On left hand side in blue, we have Xirucaire playing 84th Guard Xirucaire with a flatline income, and on the right hand side we have Curbs playing 6th Airborne, also with a flatline income.
You know, part of me is wondering to a certain extent exactly if these guys have been kind of checking in with each other first to figure out what they're bringing and want to make sure this is kind of even, because we've had the same kind of income disparity happening on Tuesday, which is a little bit uncommon here. But Xirucaire over here against the 6th, how will the Red Devils do?
It's a pretty good infantry focus map for 6th Airborne, as it's pretty choke pointy, close range, so getting those airborne powers into firefights isn't that much of a difficulty. And with the Tetrarchs and other light vehicles they bring, they can do some decent work.
You know, it's kind of funny for half a second here. I heard the kind of the whispers of moving tanks in my headphones. I thought for a second, do I have the kettle on? Just because of the way that sounded. But nope, just got a couple of Tetrarchs, like you said, up to the north. The Little John can definitely kill pretty much anything he's going to see early on. Of course, he's definitely going to get killed by anything that shoots at him, though, too.
Such is the joys of being a Tetrarch.
Yeah, and be called Little John, too. As you can tell, he's quite large. But Xirucaire over here are going to be very active across the central line position, breaking across that flooded area, shall we call it, with a couple of squads of guards and several support teams. Actually, I really like this setup.
Yeah. Using him as a base fire support, even with Curbs. I mean, both sides using quite a bit of their machine gun teams for, defensive purposes. Though Curbs is going to be pushing with the MMG carrier to try to pick off some of those guards, and as well as a sniper.
Can't help but feel that MMG carrier is not going to do a whole lot.
No, he's just there to tickle the other machine guns and maybe it'll stop firing. The answer is no.
Also, by the way, I didn't see it. We have pack howitzers to the north. 75mm howitzers are starting to engage the northern approach here, and I think we're going to be poised for a push sooner rather than later. I think he does not too sure about the PTRSs, but other than that, actually, it could be quite a considerable shift.
Yeah, whenever you do a push on this map, you really have to commit to it, because with how it's set up with all the bloody choke points, it can be pretty hard to, break through the bridge, one of 3 bridges.
Also didn't realize we had the Centaur over here in the center as well. Engaging a couple of the machine gun positions, and shockingly enough, now that I'm looking back at it, the MMG carrier might actually run out of ammo before he dies, which is just bizarre.
Yeah, I mean, he should be dead by now. This would be an anti-tank rifle, anti-tank gun that would have blown him up. But we do have T-34 and an IS-2 being brought into the center to try and give some extra fire support, which would be quite ideal, as there's not really much the 6th Airborne can really do about it early on.
True. Now, if you look to the extreme north, we're having MMG command carrier kind of slidling around, maybe trying to get some light suppressive fire here, but there's not a whole lot that's going to go on there. It's going to be a stillborn push, really.
Yeah, just really having at it with his pack howitzers to... I mean, he's doing actually a pretty good job suppressing that forest. I think it's just blind firing into it, but even then, there's just some decent hits.
Certainly possible. Into the north, command carrier already goes down, courtesy of those PTRDs. But they did reveal themselves enough for those Canadian paratroops, those feisty gentlemen that they are, to start kind of engaging across that river and maybe get some light success. I don't see a whole lot happening, but maybe there'll be something there I can't see.
We've got the off-map being brought enough north, the 203 mills, so... Yep, you're going to be calling that in, and he does have a decent amount of infantry in the town to maybe do a push across the bridge.
You're right. It's kind of interesting to see, because I have another reinforcement column coming the other direction, several squads of guards, and a T-34. And I think actually they're being deployed all the way to the north. So he is apparently selling this entire assault, which is just weird to me. I guess I can understand why. But were I, like you, I would have assumed that the major axis is going to come further to the south.
Mm-hmm.
As will now be evidenced by this entire barrage. And there we go. As soon as the barrage starts, 4 squads of guys step off. That's a beautifully timed push.
Here we go. Oh, the Tempest, is he gonna get the yak? Yes, he does. Real, like, sleek kill here. I'm really quite surprised. The Centaurs are holding down this center decently well, keeping those machine guns and infantry support guns at bay for now. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard for Xiru to really push any more through the center with just guards. You really have to move up north and try to get across the bridge.
Well, and not for nothing, too. Let's also acknowledge Tetrarch to the north. Transmission damage, like it. Wow, he gets a really quick fire. They kind of respect that.
Yeah, so that 2-pounder gun is pretty damn fast, but, it's the Tetrarch that gets killed when it gets sneezed at.
True. Which actually kind of tells me that this thrust across the river is going to become, well, another bridge too far.
Yeah, the Okerman Sheik here pretty much in a good position. Fantastic bombing run there.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And yeah.
Truly danger close. And I don't think Paras, we were 6-pounder into the Tetrarchs coming in, but that's, big deal.
Yeah, really with a push like that, it seemed maybe that second off-map artillery barrage went off and then he pushed over the bridge. Would have been good, but at the same time, I mean, especially with a deck like 84th, which has that guard spam to hell and back, it can be pretty tough to, push them out of an infantry position with only infantry. I mean, it does have the off-map, but you can only do so much.
True, and call it like it is, even the artillery can be a little bit lackluster from the 6th Airborne. They almost desperately need a lot more territory to be truly effective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually using the Mosquito Napalm Pommer to actually pretty good effect, yeah. Because that can really cause a big blister in the Soviet infantry lines.
Mm-hmm.
But you come in a little bit too late. I mean, the assault's no longer going on anymore. So it's just really, upset some people alight. Not really much.
Now,
Typhoon?
Ooh.
Nice.
I barely had even noticed him. I was just going to ask, what would you think would have happened had he just started laying smoke down on that intersection instead, to the southwest of the North Bridge? Using the 75 millimeters, would that have helped any, do you think? Because I feel like after his troops started getting pushed back, he got beat on even more by the guards that were behind and aggressing quite considerably.
Yeah, probably would have helped a little bit. I mean, yeah, those pack archers, they do actually pack a bit of smoke, so even just using the smoke on the bridge once you do an extra assault to get in close would definitely be a good idea.
Sure. But Ox and Buck's coming in, and another supply chief to the north, which is good. He definitely needs to continue to have these 75 mil howitzers going consistently.
Mm-hmm. We got some 82 mil mortars from Xiru. Yes, yeah, going to be bringing them up north to try and, keep back infantry. And like it usually happens with this map, it usually just comes down to a choke point out where both sides just smacking artillery left and right until someone manages to break through the stalemate.
Well, I feel like that it's going to happen a lot quicker than you think over here in the center. The Centaur is down, or at least one of the Centaurs is down. And what we have to remain is we have this IS-2 that kind of dares all challengers to come, and support teams that mean that these guards are not going to get shifted anytime soon.
Yeah. Like, with the IS-2, yeah, he can only really do so much. If he wants to make his center push happen, he really needs to do it a little bit up north across the bridge where he can actually get armored support onto the other side.
True, and I think that's what you're talking about, the 82 mil mortars. There's one going really far up front. Maybe this was a misclick. Oh dear God, this is a misclick. Goodbye, Ostmatovich. You poor man. And just like that, he was gone. Down to the south, couple of airstrikes. Maybe we're seeing... Okay, yeah, he's trying to bounce it into the IS-2 and the Tempest to unmask. This is interesting.
I like that.
Yeah.
Does he have line of sight?
I think he just took it away. He just took it away from himself, I think.
Yeah. Okay, because of the smoke.
But both guys taking a bit of a breather, collective breather. Xiru is definitely masked to counter any potential push. And with the mortars now engaging their opposite numbers across the other side, he's prepping for his own push, I think. I feel like Xiru is content just to kind of take it easy and take it slow.
Yeah, Astiman's going to get a pretty good hit on the artillery off-map, yeah, killing it with the mortars. So I think once again it's going to come down to both sides just massing a... I wonder if Xiru actually be the one to make a push up north, because by God, he's got the numbers to do that.
And he's got the artillery too. He's got a 203 being brought on in.
Yeah. And as you can see with all his infantry, he has them set up in lines of defenses. There's like the first line of Yokomanchiki, second line of Xirucaire, guards I mean, and the third line of even more guards and anti-tank guns.
Well, right now there's an attempt by the 6th Airborne to try to push and continue to maintain that northern bridge. I don't know that that's going to happen, though. No, I don't believe it's going to happen at all.
No. Yes, it's not enough of a force. The Tetrarchs and, you know, a spattering of infantry will not be satisfactory in this push. It's just so many numbers. It always comes down to a numbers game.
But the Mozzie, proving his worth yet again. He's taken out that northern kind of force completely. He's not going to get out, though, I don't think. That yak behind him has got more than enough speed to spare, I believe.
Tempest coming in for the intercept. Too fast.
Too furious.
And too dead now.
True. And just like that, he's gone in 60 seconds. Or your airplane is free. And here we go. Yep, this is the indication that we're going to be seeing an infantry push going the other direction here.
Xiru's got the off-map. What caliber is it? It's
203.
So, rather large stuff, yeah. And yeah, Curbs does not really have much of a defensive position. He does have those pack archers, but they're kind of shooting a little bit behind the lines. Not really anywhere it could stop shared push.
Nope, rather unlikely. Now, I do like the fact that we actually had some Ox and Bucks being brought into the center to kind of maybe hold the line against these guard troops. And for the moment, they are enough to take the territory just from where it is at the second. Ooh, 37 mm almost able to get killed there. And barrage, though. Here we go. We're starting on up, and already, as you might suspect, the 6th Airborne does not like being on the receiving end of any kind of artillery.
No, they do not.
And the A moves have been put into place, too.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's really not much air from Curbs. I mean, those two Tetrarchs will go down pretty easily, and he's got the Canadian barracks put out all the way in the far northern area of the town. But there we go, he's got some Grenadiers vote being brought in for some rapid reinforcements. Where will they get you in time?
I'm sure the Voltigieres will get there just in time to lose the territory. And I don't even mean to be pejorative with that, but there's not a whole lot you're going to be able to do when you have 4 or 5 squads at a time that are just absolutely laying down huge amounts of ground fire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just a lot of guard DPs, and they got DPs, they got the ATs, and they got the men.
The off-mappies.
Yeah, off-mappies, the anti-tankies. Just put E at the end of anything.
Or Iki in this particular case as well. But the guard squad's making light work of their snipers for the moment, and indeed, you looked at this north, you said, hey, the Canadian pairs will not get their hands dirty. Well, we're going to have a close-in firefight that's going to be rather fierce, I imagine.
Yeah, at close range, they are pretty good, they do have those really peak grenades. But once again, a little bit outnumbered, and honestly, a bit outclassed. It was double DP squad, really. AB Canadian paras only have that one Bren gun.
Oh, you shut your language. The Canadians are never outclassed. I don't know.
Well, a little bit outgunned.
There you go. Okay, that's fair. I say, but never outfought. That's the important part. I was going to say, we do not speak ill of our neighbors to the north. Even if they were a Dominion forever and ever and ever. Which I guess at some point I really should learn the definition of why it's a Dominion as opposed to a province. But, question for another day. Mosquito coming in, though, might be able to shut down this northern push. Does a really, really well-placed bombing run.
That's lovely. That was a lovely napalm run, yeah. Cutting off some of those guards, and his AB can power as well. All of them pretty well, surprisingly. With the mortar fire, they're going to be able to at least stop at far northern is hope, but we've got more off map in the middle, or in the middle of that, northern town, so to speak, and it is just completely stressed out everything. But at the same time, Xiru doesn't really have, like, a fast assault. Like, he's pushing, but he hasn't got to the other side yet, because it's all infantry. He doesn't have any armor, or IS-2s, which is armor, or other stuff to really help. He needs, a bit of extra oomph in his attack to make it work.
But that's really the issue, though, with Xirucaire, though, too, is that this is a little bit more infantry than you want to generally see, and as spammy as it can be for SD2, you need to have some sort of committed island of engagement, which we saw like last time, for example, with IS-2s.
Yeah. Yeah, it's finally bringing up AT-34, and that's really all he needs. I mean, right now, there's no real major armoured threat here from Curbs. He's bringing in some Cromwells, but even then, they're not really that scary compared to the T-34s. But, okay, do you have the... Oh, no, they don't even have the 57mm. They only have 75mm guns. They're not rapid-fire death machines.
Yeah, 6 raids per minute. I mean, I'm not saying a red coat can beat that, but could be better. The Tempest, in the meantime, that will continue to cause an issue, as probably the worst thing against it that can be said is that it is just a little bit too fast in the sky. And indeed, thankfully enough for that yak, 37mm are going to keep him out at distance for the moment.
Yeah, goddamn, having 2 3-star 37mm, yeah, it's a pretty dangerous affair. Oh, 4, oh yeah, 3 of them, goddamn. That's a really dangerous anti-aircraft net. When you have like 3-star veteran shit, they got like heat-seeking munitions.
Yes, they do.
Might as well be shooting missiles.
We're slowly seeing some artillery parks being created by the Soviets. In fact, we have a 122mm coming down to the southern side. So I'm wondering if maybe we'll see a change in axis of the assault. Probably not. I mean, if you have all the troops into the north, it seems kind of wasteful to not use that.
Yeah, it's actually weird to see as much artillery being used, because, everybody just likes using off map, because in a 1v1 it's usually a little bit more versatile, easier, and also it ruins you games, because you can just shut down assaults, but then also do assaults. I mean, off map is very versatile, is what I'm trying to say. So it's nice to see more traditional artillery products being used, having artillery on the map instead of somewhere off from all these weird, grid mappy, black and white area, which I guess where it spawns from.
Well, and besides that too, it's nice to know the artillerymen are trying to take a vested interest in the battlefield. So yeah, I'm right there with you. I agree. It's nice to know that they can get just as much risk as everyone else. Right now, actually, the pack howitzers, as I say that, are getting pounded by the 122mm. So here we go, as the next couple of rounds come in. They're trying desperately to find one another. I'm kind of interested to see.
It's like a game of Battleship.
Yeah, and unfortunately for the 75mm, they don't quite have the same level of accuracy or really care to engage their opposite number in the same fashion.
Yeah, I don't even think I'd have the range to... I think I'd barely have enough range, but at that point their accuracy is just, shot through the roof, and it might not be coming down.
It's possible. Oh, they have the range.
Yeah. It's
about 6,500, 7,000 meters right there, so they definitely could theoretically do it, just highly unlikely.
Yeah, Xiru's doing pretty good, Joe, because he He's slowly running, just due to that one flag he has in the central position. And honestly, if I was Curbs, I'd maybe try and take it back. Because it's not good to be losing like this for so long.
But the issue, though, is all this Napiris and the Maxim right there, and you have the IS-2. So, I mean, good luck aggressing.
Yeah, it's kind of a deadly firing line. And especially with 6th Airborne, which don't have the best long-range support. Especially against an IS-2.
And slowly the 6th Airborne is getting blown out of the skies, too, which is just so strange for me to kind of say.
Yeah, I think it really is just coming down to Xiru. You know, he's taken a serious investment in his anti-am. He's got 2 of these 37 mils down. So, I mean, he's got 5 37 mils. All of them leaders, so they've all got 3-star veterancy. Like, you can't do anything about it in a 1v1 like this. I mean, they are getting slowly battered right by 75 mils, which is a good target. But they're still alive.
Yep.
And there's still a lot of them. It's just a little bit too much.
Indeed, you speak the true. Try Polstons in the meantime. Actually, I kind of like this. This is going to keep the infantry plate to the north to a rather relative minimum. Mm-hmm. Not a whole lot can be done. And fascinated to see why he's moving his supply trucks away. He's just trying to pad stats. Oh no, he's got supply truck. He's got 75 mils to the south as well. 75 mils will find, like you said, the anti-air guns slowly. But at what cost in terms of munitions?
Yeah. Yeah, 6th Airborne don't get... Well, I guess you could get a decent amount of supply trucks, but you usually don't.
No, for good reason, though, too.
Yeah.
But we are into Phase C. And while it doesn't mean a change in terms of economics, what it might mean is it might mean a change in terms of spammability.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the question might be, do you think there are going to be more Strokies kind of on the way with guards and all that kind of material, or is it just going to be that we see like more Voltigeurs with more paras?
That's a good question, really, because with 6th Airborne, you can actually, spam C-phase infantry pretty decently, because like with all infantry in ST2, a lot of them just have that 9, 18, 27 availability. In 6th Airborne, it's, with no exception, with a decent amount of their troops, so I have a feeling this is going to be continuous AB paras spam into the town, but at the same time, Xiru, he just is really beating the curbs to the infantry spam game with everything, and he does a really nice chain of command setup, so all his infantry are fairly, high vet.
Wait, are you saying he's kicking him to the curbs?
I think so.
Okay.
It definitely seems to be the case. I mean, up north, the AB Canadian powers from last engagement have been pretty heavily beaten. They do have some reinforcements being brought in, but once again, there's a lot of guards.
Oh, the guards being brought in are rather weakened varieties of what they once were, but there still are, 6 squads worth? So I think you're right. I think we're going to see a renewed engagement here.
And you are seeing another 2 or 3 off map from Xiru.
And a Challenger.
Approaches?
Yes, actually, he's going to get 1 stock, though. There's only 1 of them in the center.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an alright tank. It's definitely not gonna... I don't think it has a good chance of killing the IS-2, but Rivet Divisionet doesn't really have any other heavily armed tanks, quote-unquote. I mean, you gotta make do with what you got with the Challenger.
Truth.
I just want to talk to the guy who thought that was a good design. I mean, I knew they were pretty desperate and sticking 17-pounders and anything, but I mean, just look at the turret.
Yeah, it's a bit of like a stovepipey hat there, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's just very. I don't know. It looks like if I was a kid and I wanted to draw a tank, I'd just draw the Challenger.
I'm actually kind of perked. I'm pretty sure I
boxy.
drew that same tank about a couple of weeks ago. Also, these 45 mils being brought up to the front, and he's going to be firing at these Cromwells. He's already taken out 1 already. He's brought this Cromwell from a couple hundred meters. I think literally 200 or 300 meters. Going to absolutely masticate them whenever he finally gets a shot off. Oh, wow. Shockingly enough, not just yet. Ooh, the last barrage from that 203 is going to go down right now. And this Yak, yeah, he's not going to even... He might not even make it out of there. The Tripolstans is awful deadly. And just like that, the Canadian Paras, like Kaiser Sose, are gone.
And that would be a good game, and pretty close in the kills once again.
It was kind of funny because I feel like a lot more death had occurred there, but then I realized that a lot more of the material was much more foot-based, shall we say?
Yeah, like, I was really surprised we didn't see any IS-2s up north. I know it's pretty dangerous bringing in such a heavy tank in a confined area, but still, it would have been a pretty, pretty huge advantage. But at the end of the day, I mean, Xiru, he just held that. What you really need to do is just hold that central, like, small farm position. We see captured with just a handful of infantry, and that essentially just run him the match.
Yes, but you know what? Sometimes it's going to happen. I guess, to a certain extent, I kind of was hoping that the 6th Airborne was going to have a slightly better showing there. But hey, can't always get what we want here, and I guess the poor 6th is going to pay the price today, though.
Yeah.
All right. If you have nothing further, sir?
I have nothing really new.
Well, folks, in that case, then that means that we're going to call it quits for today. Until next time, I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangaroo, take it easy.